Good morning, App Properties. It's Monday, April 13th. I hope you all had a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm here with Kevin Van Eck, who is live out of our Goose Island office for another episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin. Good morning, Kevin.
Morning, Amy. Good to see you. Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Hope everyone did enjoy the weekend. We're back today. We have Mike and Thad back to recap a few things, but also to talk about some new topics. The biggest thing we're going to cover right off the bat just for a moment is the stimulus. As we know, there are changes consistently. And so we're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about what the vibe is out there in the industry outside of App Properties. So if we look nationwide, what are brokerages and other brokers doing, and what's the feeling out there?
Thanks, Kevin. Yep, I'd like to welcome our Monday special guests. They seem to be a regular now on Mondays. Mike and Thad, we wanted to check in with the two of them on, as Kevin said, the stimulus and then kind of what's going on in the market right now. So good morning, guys.
Good morning, Amy.
Kevin.
I'm checking in live from our guest room. Mike's live from his chateau.
Yeah, right, exactly. My ski chateau. I'm somewhere in the Swiss Alps, getting ready to hit the slopes. It will just
I've got two lamps
because
the shade's shut. Mike's like, welcome to my ballroom.
That's just how I like to roll.
All right. Looks like things haven't changed.
I'm in Thad's guest house, really. He put me in the guest house to quarantine me, so pretty nice.
Yeah, right.
Even remote, it's the same love, even remote, from far, far away. You still miss each other, I can tell. So wanted to jump into this. Mike, can you give us a little bit of an update on the stimulus package, what we kind of know, to date? There's been a couple of updates, but I know we're still holding fast on Illinois. So can you share with us?
Sure. My favorite subject. I can't wait till I cannot talk about the stimulus anymore. But so here are the updates that we know. It's as we said before, it's kind of painfully slow moving across the board. When it comes to unemployment, Illinois is still not ready to release unemployment to independent contractors. So you don't need to call or email. We will inform you literally the second that we know when they open that up. The good news is we are starting to see a couple states be ready to accept applications for unemployment for independent contractors. Michigan opened up their doors or their website to independent contractors, I believe, on the end of the day on Friday, and then Georgia is opening up this morning for independent contractors. So we are seeing some movement there finally. I just think, Illinois is a big state with a lot of people. The system needs to be adjusted. It's going to be a little more complicated. So we'll get there. We're still thinking it's going to be, potentially towards the end of the month. But, our understanding still is that everyone will be able to go back to the beginning of the month. So it's not like you're not going to get the money. You're just going to be a little delayed. But we promise we are on top of it, and we will make sure that you are fully aware of what's going on as we learn more. In terms of the government, the other government programs through the SBA, the PPP program is starting to roll out. Again, everything's slow. We have seen some applications get through. A couple of our teams were approved last week. So you are starting to see some movement there. But the other thing we're hearing is that people are applying and they send their stuff into the banks and then they don't hear anything for a while. That is totally going to be typical. The banks are overwhelmed with applications. I don't know if you guys saw the article in Cranes, but Wintrust and CIBC, I think, got 9,000 applications between the two of them last week. So they are wading through them, doing the best they can, but they will get through them and they'll push the program out. There's also been articles about the fact that the money has already been fully subscribed. Again, last week they're going back to Congress. I do not believe that they're going to allow that program to run out of money. So if you're in the process of the PPP, just be patient. And then the EIDL loan, I don't have really a good update there. We've sent the information out. If that's the route you're going to go, we definitely would advise you to apply. We are hearing that is taking some time as well because the SBA just isn't geared for the number of applications they're getting. But again, every program we're hearing is moving just slowly, but it is starting to come to pass. So we're optimistic we're going to start to see some more good things coming over the next week or two.
Great. Thanks, Mike. That's good. Yeah, so many questions coming in about that. So everybody, just please make sure you read the emails as they come out and trust that you're going to get the information as soon as we have it. Mike's on top of it. And I know you get the emails from him, but we also hear from him multiple times a day too about this if there are any updates. So please stay tuned for that. I want to go to another question. So we're getting a lot of questions about the stimulus. We're also getting some questions about our departments because, we're not in the offices, we can't see them. So the question we're getting is, are our departments still working? And when we talk about that, we mean, are they still accessible to agents, meaning marketing and accounting, IT? What's the answer to that?
The answer is 100% yes. While our departments are up and running, marketing is incredibly busy right now. I mean, the good news is a lot of you guys out there have really engaged in putting together marketing programs for yourself, getting yourself organized to really hit the ground running once we open back up. So I think our marketing people are extremely busy. And contract admin and finance, they're also busy. We are still processing deals. Things are still closing. Checks are coming through. It's a little bit more of a process because we have to track checks down sometimes. Again, if you can get money wired in, that is the best solution, especially when it comes to closings. But things are moving. I mean, we are all talking to people in all departments on a daily basis. People are busy. They're learning to be efficient from home. Most people are looking forward to getting back to the office and getting back to a little sanity, but we're definitely engaged and out there. And I don't see anybody who's not really busy right now on that front. Thad, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I talked, Natasha and I talk every single day. And so marketing is cranking. We've got a lot of new stuff that we rolled out. You saw the things about Passover and Easter. We've got a cool video that's going to be done, an animated video about kind of some of the challenges that happen when you're shelter in place in your family. And that'll be that'll be silly. That should happen in about 3 weeks. And so, yeah, everybody is working really hard. I think people are surprised about how efficient they can be working from home. I personally like working from the office and I like seeing people. So that's the only part I'm missing. But it's like Mike has heard me the last year say, I feel like I don't have any time to think. I feel like I'm always just doing and I'm always just working. And I don't have any time to think about how to make things better or come up with an idea. And so now, when you're sitting alone working, there is just more time to think. And I walk a lot, because most of my all of my communication is done over the phone. I walk 10 to 15 miles a day. I just put my headphones on and start walking and I come home when I'm done. And, when you're walking between calls too, that's a good time just to free your mind and think a little bit and about business and about life.
Yeah, so good to know. I mean, I feel like the departments have been really busy and, I've been in communication with all of them, but thanks for the update because I think there was just some question as to, if we're full throttle right now, and I think we are, even though we're all working remote. If you need any content for that video of what it's like to be working from home with kids, feel free to come by my house because it's quite comical. There's moments where I don't look so nice and friendly, I think.
This video is a takeoff from that. Do you remember that couple we did a couple of times for Valentine's and the love and the skateboard? It's that same couple, but they're at home, just the two of them, and they're now married.
Nice.
Baby on the way. No, and also realize too, all of our office managers are really engaged as well. People are coming into the offices on a daily basis, making sure stuff is stocked, making sure stuff is checked. Checks are being set up, processed. Our messenger's still running every day. So if you need something, reach out to your office manager too, because they're there to help you out. And they are, while they're working from home, they're still engaged, taking care of all kinds of daily stuff for all of you guys always.
Yeah, our team, I feel like, is all in. So speaking of all in, I wanted to talk a little bit. Thad, I know you just had recently done the podcast or that interview with Brad Inman and with Vanessa, who is an independent broker owner out in California. And I really, liked what I think both of you had to say. And I think it was kind of a compelling interview, but you seemed obviously really optimistic, and I think Vanessa did as well. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think this is a tough time for many people, for many business owners, for many different industries, but I wanted to get a sense from you as to what are you sort of seeing and feeling in the industry right now from others that you talk to, because I feel like, when we all are talking together, it's really focusing on opportunity coming out of this and really coming out stronger. But is that the vibe everywhere? Or I think we want to know what you're hearing.
Well, I think that I've been talking to a lot of broker owners and a lot of managers, and it's interesting because you see a person's true character come out, and when you're faced with a huge challenge and you're arguably rightfully afraid because you don't know exactly how long it's going to last. There's a ton of uncertainty. You hear what people are saying, and what they're saying is usually a reflection of how they're feeling. And so Vanessa is one. She's amazing. She's a true entrepreneur. She is incredibly competitive and very successful, and she's incredibly optimistic, just like me. It doesn't feel good right now while we're in it, and that's the biggest difference. I think I talked to another broker owner yesterday from a smaller firm, and every owner of a brokerage company is afraid. Every single one universally is uncomfortable. Okay, and some of them, the guy I talked to yesterday was looking for me to kind of soothe him with his questions. When will it be over? What do you think it will be like? Which made me understand that he's living in the problem. When you're asking these questions, how do I get out? You're nowhere near, you're just in the problem, and you can't be creative and you can't think about anything having to do with growth or opportunity if you're sitting in the problem. So like right now, the problem with what Mike's working on is independent contractors can't apply. So there'll be some people that are just waiting until they can apply, and other people that are doing a lot of other things along the way. And that part is super important. So, in talking with a lot of the other owners, what I hear is some of them their companies are so big, they're less involved, I think, with training and coaching, with marketing, with operations. And some are so small that they're just figuring out how to keep everything together. So, for us, when I look at the recession, it was like a restart, right? Everyone was the same until the Great Recession. And in that period, depending on how you behaved and what you did, when we came out of it, it was a restart. Some people were much stronger. Some people were not together. Right now is the same thing. We're all hit with the exact same thing at the same time. Everyone's doing different things. We're heavily focused on innovation right now from our IT department. We're heavily focused on our creativity, and we're wildly focused on improving the product given to the consumer, which always has been our belief and what is our differentiator. We give the agents the best quality product to give to the consumer to help them succeed. So unless Mike and I were talking earlier before the podcast, unless you're an agent that started in 08, when you talk to those agents that are successful now, that started in 08, started in 09, where that period was their normal, they rocked, okay? They didn't have the glory days before that period. They started when it was very, very challenging, and that was their normal. It's kind of like doing anything. When your normal is at a much higher level than everybody else's, you perform at a higher level. So right now we're in that period again, and I am ridiculously optimistic. I think that, I think housing is going to have a big boom when this is over. We're going to come out, and I think that we are going to be incredibly well positioned to take over market share, for our agents to grow into new markets, and to continue growing in the markets we're already in. So it's challenging for sure, but it's also a really exciting time for sure. Because when you don't have stuff like this, it can become mundane. You're just doing the same thing, which was the reason why I said to Mike before, I felt I never had any time to think because I was just working. Now I feel like I'm thinking, and things are feeling much brighter.
So a question then, you talked about those agents in 2008, the ones that started, that they sort of had to, that was their normal, that they had to raise the bar, or, that was status quo for them. What were those things? Like, what were those agents doing in 2008 to 2012 that the agents that previously lived through the glory days weren't doing?
It was all business building actions, all the things through training and coaching that you guys are continuously reporting on and continuously trying to get agents to do. Those agents had everything to do with relationship development. Okay, there wasn't a lot of business. So they were out there on the ground building relationships. They were out there marketing themselves. They were totally focused on building a business. And that's what I think is a big difference is, when you have a big impact of something negative, most people will get scared and they will shrivel up and, operate slower. Well, for these guys who started in 08, 09, that wasn't a shock. That was normal. So they just operated and moved and just built their business as if there was nothing wrong going on. That's the big difference. So how we respond in these periods, what are we doing in these periods? The popcorn, I don't think we got a ton of great response from the popcorn of people who sent that out. And I have a lot of agent communication going on right now with people that are interacting with their sellers and their buyers and trying to build their business. That's interaction. That's people that are working. And I think some people, when they're at home in the shelter in place, you know, it is kind of a nice break. My kids are home. I see them in the middle of the day. It's awesome. But, you know, I haven't lost focus. You know, I'm not just drifting, waiting for something to change till I can get back at it. Those people who are waiting for something to change so they can get back at it, some of them will be left behind and the rest will just be paddling to catch up.
Yeah, I think, you know, if we look back, the people that put together a plan and followed a plan and were disciplined, they came out so much better than in 2008, 2009, 2010 than those who were trying to rely on the easy market that they were in. I wouldn't say that the market was easy the last 2 years, but it was definitely easier. This is now an opportunity for you to really get organized, really be on top of your business. And we've said it over and over again, and we sound like a broken record, but it's important that you hear it, that, you know, make time every day to engage in your business. Make time every day to get organized, engage with our systems, make sure you have a plan. Because when we come out of this, there's a lot of people that aren't doing anything. There are a lot of people that are frozen. I've talked to people at other companies and just heard from other people who are hearing about things in other companies that they're not getting the training and the coaching and the support that Amy and Kevin and our team are putting together for you guys. So just realize you're going to be steps ahead of everybody else, but you want to make sure you get even further ahead once things get going. So the most important thing is just staying engaged, and especially if you're feeling a little bit of you know, Corona fatigue right now and you just want to sit back and watch Netflix, fine, watch your movie. But block time out and do some things for your business every day. Make those phone calls, create those relationships. Even though nothing's going on or not a lot is going on right now, it's going to get going again. And having laid that groundwork will put you so much further ahead, and your business will thrive when many others will, as Thad said, shrivel up and die.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think that one of the things you said is that we feel like a broken record, but here's one thing I want to reiterate is, you know, at the end of the day, there are certain things that are key to building your business in real estate. There's no silver bullet. There's no like, what now? It's the same things we've been talking about. It's honing your skills. It's learning about the tools and resources, and it's about relationships. So I know I've heard it from a few brokers where they're like, wow, you keep saying the same thing. But at the end of the day, that's the recipe for success. So at the end of this, I think you will be, you know, all of us, if we do these things, and take a little time each day for our business, whether it's like Caroline Starr said, she writes 3 cards a day. If you follow Ninja and you're doing that program, you know, whatever it is, as we come out of this, you will see the results. And if we do sit back and we watch movies and Netflix, you know, we won't see the results. So thank you so much, Mike and Thad. Any final thoughts before we go?
No, I think, listen, we're starting to hear some glimmers of good news. That you know, we're slowing things down here, and they are starting to talk about figuring out how to restart the economy and get back to work. It's going to be a slow process. We're not going to flip a switch, whether it be May 1 or a different day, and all of a sudden everyone's back to work. But it is going to start moving in that direction, and just I think some positive talk and positive movement in that direction really means we have to up our game now to make sure we're ready for that.
I would just say if you can find a place where you can walk. I know in the city it's tough. I'm in Michigan right now, so it's easier, but I was in Chicago and I was walking there in Lincoln Park. I would just say set your watch for 2 hours and go walk for 2 hours. And they can put a list of paper in your pocket and write down all the names of the people that you want to connect with and just walk and talk. After 2 hours, you'll probably do like 6 miles, maybe 7. And you'll look at your watch and you're like, wow, that was cool. But you'll communicate and you'll touch a lot of people, and they'll be happy to hear from you, and you'll be building your business. Do that every day this week. Okay. That would be so cool. 10 hours of talking with clients, with prospects, with friends that send you referrals. 10 hours of communication this week, 2 hours a day. That's it. You know, I think that's fun personally.
Amy, if you
do, I'm kind of weird.
Out of your house.
As Mike says, I'm weird. So
never said you were weird. Just said you were a little off. And Amy, 2 hours a day, you get out of your house for 2 hours a day.
I'll do it. I'm going to leave now. As soon as we wrap up here, I'm out here.
Try 12 hours. Go 12 hours. See what happens at home.
They might call the police.
Where were you, Dad?
This woman, she's disappeared. We can't find her, and we need some breakfast. She hasn't come back.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thank you, Mike and Thad. Thanks for joining us again on this Monday. Thanks, Amy. As always, if you have any questions or any comments, any input, anything you want to send it over to coffee@properties.com. And we'll respond to those as quickly as we can. And apparently I need more coffee. So hopefully everyone gets a fresh cup, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Ciao.
All right. Have a great Monday.